Hey everybody, I'm here today. As you guys know, sometimes I highlight Kickstarters that I think are really good or a little unique or different. Especially I like if they're done by smaller studios. And I'm here to talk today about from a studio I never heard of. I don't even know if they have a Patreon. I have to go look, and then if they do, I'll link it. But they're called Miniatures of Madness. And they'd done a Kickstarter, I think a few months ago, which I'd seen, which was Demons, I think. And I liked it. It looked kind of good. The sculpts were, I thought, good, not great. Didn't really inspire me, but I do remember seeing it. And then I saw that they had a new one out, which is going on right now, called Hold My Dwarf. Cute title. Title, of course, doesn't matter. But the sculpting on the dwarves, and I think for me, what really struck me is not just the sculpting, the character concepts. They have some really cool ones, some funny ones. I just thought of all the dwarf Kickstarters I've ever seen, these dwarfs have the most character. Plus, for me, comparing their last Kickstarter to this one, the sculpting just looks a lot better. It's almost like the sculptor leveled up or something like that. These sculpts are really, really good looking. And like I said, the concepts are great. So I reached out to them to see if I could test print some stuff, because they offer regular models and then a pre-supported tier, which costs more. So I always like to evaluate for you guys how good are the supports also. So first, let's talk about, there's a couple of things we have to talk about. So I love the art. Like, I'm going to start floating some pictures around my head so you can see what they have, but go check out the Kickstarter and see what you guys think. For me personally, the art style is like spot on to what I like. Like maybe I guess I like a tiny little bit cartoony, but like really good details and just good poses and some pretty cool stuff. But we also have to look at value, especially these days when some of the Patreons are pumping out an incredible amount of stuff for a low price. Of course, the quality is not always so good either, and a lot of times there's a lot of different artists working on stuff, and you don't have things don't look compatible. But so again, for art style, I love this one. Now I looked through all the core and the stretchables that have been unlocked so far, and I believe right now, I might be off by a model or two, but I think you get like 40 models for the equivalent of $48. So that's a good part. I mean, to me, anything even close, if it's good art, $2 or less per STL to me is actually a good value. I think that's a good value. When you get closer like this, it's closer to $1 per STL. What more can you ask? I mean, it's pretty cheap. You get 40 figures for $48, right? I think it's a great deal. And I think there's still a couple of stretch goals that probably or / hopefully will be unlocked. So we'll see. So the value might increase even more. Hey, I'm interrupting myself to correct myself. I actually, after I filmed the video, went back and looked and counted again, and I counted wrong. They're up over 50 models already for $48, so it's less than $1. I think the pre-supported tier, maybe I should double check, I think it was like $68. And you're getting 50 models, so also still pretty good value. And I still think that this guy, Dwarf in a Barrel, should count like as 10 models, because I love this model so much. This is so cool. Anyway, all right, let me get back to stop interrupting myself and back to the video. And then we have to talk about supports though. So they sent me models to print, and I'm gonna show you my prints. And when I start doing these now, I realize I should start like grading the support work. The pre-supports are not perfect by any stretch, but what I consider them is a good starting point. So you have to run it through the validator. I found a couple of missed little islands, nothing like big, but there were some. I like to get every island, so there were some little spots I found. So I would just say this: if everyone go check this out. If you do like the art, if your taste is like mine at all, you're gonna love the art. If you do, and you do the supported tier, just I'm letting you know now, it's not, don't just drop it in your printer and print. I would review each file. Instead of taking an hour per figure, like I normally take at least an hour per figure to support a figure, because they had the supports, 95% acceptable to me, it only took me like 10 minutes to, to prep each figure for print instead of taking me an hour. So the pre-supported version, again, you can't just drop it in. I wouldn't just drop it in and print it, although that even might work. But the models themselves are great. So I do think that this Kickstarter, it's not getting much attention. And I think their Demons one, the one I didn't like that much, only had like 200 backers. And I think this one right now, as I make this video, might only be like 500 or 600. But I really feel like if people looked at this, if you like dwarves at all, I can't imagine that people wouldn't like this Kickstarter. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, look at the character, the style, the sculpting. This is really, really well done. Again, my opinion only, but I really liked it. So again, the supports, and I'm going to start doing this for other Kickstarters if people let me see their supported figures, if they're not afraid of getting critiqued. Like these people weren't afraid to give it to me. I'm going to start grading supports on these things, so you know what to expect if you get supported models. So like I said, these were good, not great. You definitely have to do some prep work yourself if you want to be safe, but it wasn't terrible either. So that's it. I think this Kickstarter is worth a look, at least for people. It's from a small studio, which I like, instead of being from one of the huge. Not that I have anything against huge studios, by the way, of course, but I do like to see smaller creators support it, especially when they put out something good that's worthy of supporting. So as I'm making this part of the video, I've already printed the Dwarf in the Barrel, which I think is, like, concept-wise for me, incredible model. I don't know if everyone's going to agree with me, but I just think this kind of idea, haven't seen it before, and I absolutely love it. So they have a couple like cute, funny ones, and they have a bunch of like serious ones too. So I'm printing up a bunch of other ones. So stay tuned. I'm gonna have, of course, the close-up high-res photos of my prints so you can see. And that's it. Just want to throw this out there so people can get a look at this Kickstarter and maybe support it. The next Kickstarter there's so many Kickstarters these days. Another Kickstarter that I'm really interested in, that I'm also working on a video on, is the one from Titancraft, where you can, create your own boss monster and then like pose it and everything like you can do in Desktop Hero. It's by the same guys, Desktop Hero, Hero Forge, what's the other one? Eldritch Foundry, and there's another one I'm forgetting, I apologize. But the idea of being able to pose your own boss monsters and create in exactly how you want is pretty intriguing to me. So I'm actually working on that video as well, so look for that in the next couple days. All right, that's it. Thanks everyone, and happy 3D printing.